Title: AITA for punching my stepfather in front of his kids on Thanksgiving. Original post: you found after years. This happened just a few days ago, and I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I've been running on adrenaline and old ghosts, and my girlfriend thinks I should post here to get some clarity. So, here goes. I, 22M, had a rough childhood. My father died when I was 7. He was everything to me, kind, patient, and deeply involved in my life. His death broke something in me, and it didn't help that within 2 years, my mom remarried a man named Gary, not his real name. Gary seemed okay at first, but once the honeymoon phase wore off, he showed his true colors. He was strict, controlling, and had a vicious temper. I was 9 when they got married, and by the time I was 10, he'd already started hitting me. It wasn't just the occasional smack, it was full-on physical abuse. The kind that left bruises and made me dread going home. My mother, she always had a way of justifying it. He's trying to make you tough, she'd say. Or, you shouldn't have talked back. When I was 14, they told me I was going to spend a week with my grandparents who lived in the next state over. It wasn't unusual. I loved my grandparents, and they were a bit of a safe haven. So I went without question. When I came back, everything was gone. No one was at the house. Furniture gone. No cars in the driveway. Neighbors didn't know where they went, or if they did, they weren't talking. I found out a few days later that the house had been sold. My mom and Gary had moved away without telling me. No phone call, no note, nothing, just gone. I lived with my grandparents after that. I was angry, lost, and eventually learned to stop expecting an explanation. I searched for about 18 months. Social media, public records, everything I could think of. But I was just a kid, and they'd changed their names. Eventually, I gave up. I had to. Flash forward to now. I'm in college, doing okay for myself. Therapy helped a lot. I've been dating a girl, Emily, for about 6 weeks. Things are still fresh but good. She invited me to come home with her for Thanksgiving to meet her family. I was nervous but agreed. Her aunt and uncle live in a nice neighborhood about 3 hours away from campus. We pull up to the house, and the first thing I see is 2 kids, maybe 6 or 7, playing in the snow in the front yard. Their dad is building a snowman with them. He turns around, laughing. And it's Gary. At first I froze. My brain was short-circuiting. The last time I saw this man, I was a scared, abandoned teenager. But then it hit me. This man had kids. A new life. A family. As if the last one never happened. As if I never happened. I got out of the car before Emily could even react and walked straight up to him. He looked confused. Then he recognized me. I didn't say a word. I punched him. Once. Twice. A third time. Years of rage, abandonment, and bruises came pouring out. He fell backward into the snow. The kids started screaming, crying. I yelled, "Go get your mom." Not even knowing who she was. I just didn't want them near him. Emily was screaming my name. Her aunt came running out. Chaos. Her uncle tried to grab me, but I backed off. I didn't hit anyone else. Eventually, someone called the police. I wasn't arrested. They said it was a domestic dispute, and that given the circumstances, they weren't pressing charges. Emily's family was horrified. Her aunt kept saying, "You should have told us." I didn't know. Emily drove me home early. We haven't really spoken since. She's not mad, just shocked. I don't know what to think. On one hand, I've imagined this moment for years. On the other hand, I hit a man in front of 2 children who didn't do anything wrong. Am I just continuing the cycle? Was I justified? Reddit. AITA. Top comments. Trauma is real. NTA. What he did to you was unforgivable. He got off easy, if anything. Break the cycle. Soft NTA. I understand the impulse, but doing it in front of his new kids might traumatize them the way you were traumatized. That's the only part that gives me pause. Long memory 87. You didn't go looking for revenge. It found you. Anyone judging you hasn't lived your life. Update 10 days later. First, I want to start with an apology. To everyone who read my original post and was confused by the relationships, I'm sorry. I didn't clarify the full situation because, truthfully, I didn't want to face it. I wasn't ready. Emily's aunt, the woman I referenced in my first post, is actually my mother. She married Gary, who is Emily's father's brother, making Gary Emily's uncle and my stepfather. I said, aunt, in the original post because I couldn't bring myself to refer to her as my mother. Not after everything. Not after she abandoned me. Not after what she allowed to happen. So yes, I unknowingly walked into Thanksgiving dinner at the home of the woman who left me behind, and the man who abused me for years. And yes, they now have 2 new children, a new life, and I was the ghost at their perfect little holiday table. There are a few questions I keep getting asked over and over again. I figured I'd answer them here, to clear things up before I get into the rest of what's happened. 1. Who did you live with after you were abandoned? My grandparents. My dad's parents. They took me in without hesitation. They never spoke badly about my mother, not once, even though they had every reason to. My grandmother was the one who held me while I cried, and my grandfather drove me to therapy and school and helped me with college applications. My grandparents are my real parents, in every way that matters. 2. Why did your mother and Gary disappear? Gary had outstanding debts. Gambling, I think. They were in a financial spiral, and to avoid consequences, they changed their names and moved. Legally. Different state. New identities. Clean slate. They didn't tell anyone, not even distant relatives. They just cut and run. 3. Has your mother tried to contact you? Yes, multiple times. She's shown up at my apartment twice since Thanksgiving. The first time, I didn't even open the door. I just watched through the peephole as she knocked, cried, begged. The second time, I opened it. We'll get to that. After Thanksgiving, Emily and I didn't talk for about a week. She texted me a few times, saying she wanted to understand what had happened. Eventually, I agreed to meet her on neutral ground, a coffee shop we both liked. She looked wrecked. No makeup, dark circles, fingers fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve. She said, I had no idea. I swear to God, I didn't know. My parents never said a thing about a long-lost cousin. They didn't even know her previous name. They just knew Uncle Gary married someone with 2 kids and a tragic past. 2 kids. Me and my younger sister, who died of pneumonia when she was 3. I was 8. It shattered me. And yes, that happened before Gary. Emily and I talked for a long time. I told her everything. She cried. I cried. It was cathartic, but it didn't magically fix everything. We agreed to take some time apart. Not necessarily break up, but breathe. I didn't want her caught in the crossfire. And oh, was there crossfire. A week after that, I got the first visit. I was in my apartment studying for midterms when I heard the knock. Not the usual soft knock of a neighbor, or the rhythmic rap of a package delivery. This was hesitant, offbeat. I checked the peephole. My stomach dropped. It was her, my mother. She looked older, more worn. Her hair had grayed, and she held herself like someone used to flinching. She knocked again, and I could see her lips moving. Whispering, maybe praying. I didn't open the door. I waited until she left, then sat on the couch for 2 hours, heart pounding. 3 days later, she came back. This time I opened it. We stood in silence for a full minute. She started crying almost immediately. She said, "You have no idea how long I've waited for this." I didn't say anything. She told me they changed their names to escape Gary's debts. She said they were ashamed, scared. That she thought I'd be better off with my grandparents. That she tried to find me later, but didn't know how. That Gary forbade her from reaching out for years. I never stopped loving you, she said. I just didn't know how to come back. I said, you didn't try hard enough. That shut her up. We talked, awkwardly, painfully. She tried to hug me and I flinched. I don't even remember half of what she said, only that she repeated, "I'm sorry," over and over again. Eventually, I asked her, why now? She looked me in the eyes and said, because seeing you on Thanksgiving broke me. I thought I'd buried the past. But seeing you again, it brought everything back. I realized I couldn't keep living like it never happened. I told her I didn't forgive her. Not yet, maybe not ever. But I didn't slam the door. I didn't scream. I let her speak. I set boundaries. I told her no more surprise visits. If she wants to talk, it goes through my lawyer, Yes, I got one. I also filed a restraining order against Gary. Not because I think he'll come after me, but because I need the distance. I need protection. You know what the wildest part is? Gary didn't tell her who I was. Not until after the Thanksgiving incident. She had no idea I was Emily's boyfriend. He recognized me before she even came outside. Apparently, he told her later that night, after I left, after the police. So when she showed up at my door, it wasn't a strategic reunion. It was desperation. She knew she might never see me again if she didn't act. I'm not sure how to feel about that. Other things that happened since the original post. I started a trauma support group for other kids who went through abandonment or abuse. Online, anonymous. It's grown faster than I thought. Emily and I reconnected, slowly. She's been supportive but gives me space. She even went low contact with her family for now, not because they were complicit, but because she needs to process it too. My therapist says I'm doing well. I still have nightmares, but fewer. Less rage, more control. Gary tried to reach out through a third party. A friend of a friend. I shut it down. I don't need closure from him. I don't owe him anything. My mother sent a letter. 8 pages, handwritten. I haven't read it yet. I'm not sure I want to. I'm still deciding what to do next. The story isn't over, but for now, I'm breathing easier. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. And that feels like a kind of justice all its own. Update to 3 days later. 3 days after my mother's second and final visit, another knock came at my door. I was already on edge. Every sound in the hallway made me tense, but this knock was different. Sharper, heavier, not tentative like hers. I looked through the peephole. Gary. My whole body froze. I don't remember unlocking the door. I don't remember opening it. But there he was, in the flesh, older, but no less threatening. The same square jaw, the same sneer tucked behind fake politeness. But this time, I wasn't a scared kid. I stood my ground. He held up his hands like he was entering a lion's den. Look, I don't want trouble. I just want to talk. I didn't say anything, just stared. I figured it was time we cleared the air. Man to man. That phrase, man to man, boiled my blood. I don't owe you anything, I said. Say what you came to say and get out. He sighed, glancing over his shoulder like he was being watched. Look, I'm not here to fight. I know you've got feelings about what happened, and you mean how you used to beat me. His eyes narrowed. That was a long time ago. It was my childhood. He had the nerve to look offended. I've changed. I've got responsibilities now. A wife. 2 kids. I cut him off. Those kids are my half-brothers. He blinked. I could tell he didn't expect me to acknowledge that. Yeah, they are, he said, softer. Which is why I came. Look, I know we didn't get off to the best start. You mean when you beat me and abandoned me? He flinched, and for a second I thought maybe, there was shame there. But then he shifted. You've been asking around, he said. Digging. People are starting to ask questions. You need to stop. There it was. The real reason. This wasn't about closure. It wasn't about apology. It wasn't about guilt. It was about him. You've got a good life now, he went on. Don't stir up the past. You think you're the only one with trauma. He said that, to me. I stared at him, dead-eyed. You came here to parade your new family around like it's a shield. You want me to feel sorry for you. He shifted his weight uncomfortably. It's not like that. It's exactly like that. You're not here because you feel remorse. You're here because you're scared people will find out what you did. His jaw clenched. I'm asking you to let it go. For the sake of the kids. The same way you let me go. He didn't respond. I stepped forward. I don't want anything to do with you. Or your new family. Those boys might be my half-brothers by blood, but I don't know them. I don't want to know them. I don't owe them anything. And I sure as hell don't owe you. He looked like he wanted to punch me. Or scream. But he didn't. He stepped back, lips tight. Think about what you're doing, he said. There are consequences. I slammed the door in his face. That night, I wrote everything down. Every bruise, every scar, every time I slept outside because I was too scared to go home. Every Christmas I spent wondering what I did wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm not staying silent anymore. I'm not sure where this is going. I don't want revenge, but I do want justice. If he's running from debts or worse, people deserve to know who they're dealing with. I spoke to my lawyer again. We're documenting everything, preparing for whatever comes next. I don't want to see my mother again, and I don't want to see Gary's family. They're not mine. I'm done pretending. Update 3 to 10 days later. 10 days. That's how long it took for everything to explode. If you've been following my story, you'll know that I've been slowly pulling the curtain back on my past, on the abuse, abandonment, and the people who tried to bury their mistakes by running from them. I've been speaking with people from back home. Friends, neighbors, some of Gary's old associates. I wasn't looking for trouble, just the truth. But trouble found Gary. A few days ago, I got a call from someone I used to know. A guy I'll call Marcus. He was never exactly a saint, but he looked out for me back then when I was just a kid trying to survive in a storm of chaos. I'd reached out to him recently for help confirming Gary's past. Apparently, word had gotten around. Gary's old debts weren't just money problems, they were dangerous. People had been looking for him for years. When they found out where he was, they acted. I don't have the full details, and I won't speculate. But the bottom line is this: Gary was found, beaten, and hospitalized. He's alive, but barely. ICU, broken ribs, internal bleeding, multiple surgeries, and a mountain of hospital bills. A total of $197,000 in debt. And guess who came knocking on my door the next morning? My mother. This time, she didn't come alone. She brought the two boys, my half-brothers. The ones I told her I didn't want to meet. 7 years old, identical twins, freckles, mismatched jackets, holding her hands like they were afraid to let go. She looked desperate, pale, thin. Her eyes were swollen from crying, and her voice cracked before she even said a word. Please, she whispered, just, please. I didn't invite them in. I couldn't. I stood in the doorway, stunned, as she dropped to her knees, literally, and started begging. Gary's in the hospital. We don't have insurance. We don't have savings. We need help. They're saying we owe nearly $200,000. I just stared. She motioned to the boys. They don't understand what's happening. They just know their daddy might die. They're terrified, and I can't do this alone. Then she pulled the nuclear card. It's your fault, she said. You stirred everything up. You came back into our lives and dragged everything into the light. You talked to those people. If you had just stayed gone. I cut her off. So now this is on me. She stood, breathing hard. I'm not saying it's all your fault, but you need to understand, you are the catalyst. You resurfaced, and now everything is falling apart. We had peace before this. We were making it work. I said nothing. I was too stunned. We're going to lose the house. The boys will lose their school, their friends. If Gary dies, we're done. And if we try to run again. Her voice dropped to a whisper. They'll kill us. All of us. Then she pulled out the final play. Your grandfather left you a college fund. There's still some left. Please. You don't even use it. You've got scholarships. You're working. And savings. You could cover this. Not all of it, but enough to keep the wolves at bay. Give us a chance to survive this. She looked at me with hollow eyes. I don't want to be a widow. They don't deserve to be orphans. Please, just consider it. She left after that. No threats. No anger. Just silence. The boys looked back as they walked away. I felt nothing. And now I'm here, writing this, torn between fury and confusion. My mother abandoned me. Gary abused me. They erased me from their lives, started over, and only came back when their world was collapsing. But those boys, they didn't choose this. They're kids, scared and small and clinging to the only parent they know. So now I ask you, should I help them? Should I drain what's left of my savings and college fund to try and save the man who nearly destroyed me, and the woman who let him? Should I walk away and let the chips fall where they may? Is it justice, or cruelty? I don't know anymore. Let me know in the comments. Top comments. You, Lotus Blooming, absolutely not. They made their choices. They abandoned you. Let them face the consequences. You, broken but healing, that money was meant for you. Don't sacrifice your future for people who never protected your past. You, Quiet Rage 22, your half-brothers are innocent, but that doesn't make this your responsibility. You're not the villain here. Update for 2 days later. Hey again, I just want to make a quick clarification, since a few of you pointed it out and I've had time to confirm it. The $197,000 isn't the hospital bill. That's the amount Gary owes his debtors. Hospital costs are on top of that, but the real danger, the one pushing this whole nightmare forward, is that 7-figure debt to some extremely dangerous people. I didn't realize the full picture when I posted last. But since that post, things have changed. Rapidly. 2 days ago, I started noticing strange things. A car parked across from my building that didn't move for hours. A guy walking behind me who didn't seem to be actually going anywhere. I brushed it off at first, maybe I was being paranoid. But then it happened again. And again. Yesterday, I left for class and saw the same man standing by the corner store. He wasn't doing anything, just watching. And last night, my mother came back. It was after dark. I'd just gotten in from a shift at work, and there she was, pounding on my door. When I opened it, I almost didn't recognize her. She had a black eye, swollen lip, shaking hands. Her coat was inside out like she threw it on in a panic. They came, she said. They came to the house. She was crying, frantic. I don't know what to do. They said we have 1 week. 1 week to come up with the money or they'll take it out on me. On the boys. I didn't know what to say. She sank to the floor. I thought running was the answer. I thought we could hide again. But it's worse this time. They don't want us gone. They want what's owed. They said they know where you live. They said you're part of this now. And that's when I realized. They're watching me too. I haven't agreed to anything. I haven't given a cent. But just coming forward, just speaking the truth, might have pulled me into something far bigger than I imagined. I called the police, filed a report. There's not much they can do without clear evidence. I'm considering hiring security or staying elsewhere for a bit. I still don't know if I should help. But now, it feels like no matter what I choose, they've already decided I'm involved. More soon. Final update 3.5 years later. It's been a long time. 3.5 years, to be exact. And I've debated writing this for weeks. But after everything that's happened, everything that's still happening, I felt like I owed some closure. To myself, to the people who followed this journey, to the comments that reminded me I wasn't crazy. Let's start where we left off. I went to the police. It wasn't easy. It felt like betrayal, in some strange twisted way. But deep down I knew, it was the only way this was going to end without more bloodshed. And I wasn't wrong. What began as a single police report turned into a full-blown investigation. Names were named. Trails were followed. The people Gary owed money to weren't just loan sharks. They were part of a larger network, a legal operation stretching across state lines. Money laundering, fraud, threats, attempted murders. Yes, attempted murders. One of them tried to kill Gary while he was still in the hospital. A security camera caught the guy trying to sneak into his room dressed as an orderly. If one of the nurses hadn't gotten suspicious, Gary wouldn't be alive today. After that, everything moved fast. The authorities intervened. My mother, my half-brothers, and I were placed under federal witness protection. New names, new city, everything. They took us somewhere safe. We were warned. Contact with the outside world had to be cut. Phones, social media, even mail was rerouted and screened. My mother cooperated, fully. She gave them everything she knew. It turns out she'd known about Gary's debts for years, had even helped him evade some collections. But when it came to the cartel-level operations, she was just as scared as anyone. For the past 3 years, we've been in hiding. The twins are 10 now. They go to school under new names. They call me, Uncle, in public. They know something happened, but not everything. My mom is trying her best to be a better person. We still have a strained relationship, but she's finally honest with me. For the first time in my life, I think she sees me as a person, not a burden. Gary is alive. He's also in witness protection, but in another state. I have no contact with him, and I want none. The government allows him to call the boys once a week under heavy monitoring. I usually leave the house during those calls. I don't want his voice anywhere near me. As for me, I'm finishing college, quietly, under a name I didn't choose. I'm dating someone amazing. Someone kind and funny and smart, and she doesn't even know my real name. That part hurts more than I thought it would. The distance between who I am and who I have to pretend to be. But I'm working on it. Slowly. And the guy who was following me back then. He wasn't a threat. He was an investigations officer, part of the task force watching me to ensure my safety. He never approached because they were monitoring from a distance. He told me later, in one of our debriefs, that I was a linchpin in the case. My voice, the truth, cracked the whole thing open. I've been asked if I regret it, if I wish I'd stayed silent and out of it. The answer is no. I lost a lot, but I gained something too. I gained a sense of peace. I gained control of my own story. And while the past still follows me in shadows and fake names, I've learned to carry it without letting it drown me. If you've made it this far, thank you. Truly. Your comments, your support, and even your anger on my behalf kept me going when I felt like giving up. This is the final update. There won't be another, but I'm okay now. I hope you are too. Bell, if you've appreciated this story, please like and subscribe. I share daily updates, deep dive real life stories, and unique takes on Reddit drama. Thank you for being here. Top comments. I still think about this post once a month. The twist, the heartbreak, the sheer madness of it all. I hope Op is safe. Anyone else remember this? It ended with Op going to the cops and then radio silence. This story should be a movie. No joke. Hey again, I wasn't planning to write another update. The last one, the one about witness protection, the calls, the fake names, I meant for that to be the final word. But something's changed, or rather, something big is about to end. And people keep messaging, asking, hoping I'm still okay. So here it is, the actual final update. The reason I posted again, after nearly 4 years of silence, is because the investigation that turned my life inside out is finally moving forward. The trial begins in 2 weeks. It's going to be federal. High security, names sealed. The charges span everything from financial fraud to attempted murder to organized crime. Gary isn't the ringleader, but he's one of the key dominoes in the whole chain, and the prosecution says our testimony is essential. My mother's nervous, understandably. She'll be testifying too. The twins don't really understand what's going on. They know something big is happening, that their dad's in trouble, but they don't know how deep it runs. And me, I'm ready, because I did something else recently, something just as hard, if not harder. I told my girlfriend everything. I told her my name, my real name. I told her who I was, who I used to be, and what had happened. I told her about Gary, my mom, the boys, the hiding, the fear. The reason I check door locks 4 times and flinch at unknown numbers. She took it better than I expected. Didn't run, didn't panic, just asked questions, then hugged me like I was the same person I'd been the day before. And here's the part that might upset some of you, or surprise others. Once this is over, once the trial ends and protections are lifted, I'm leaving. I'm leaving my mother, I'm leaving my half-brothers. Not because I hate them, not because I'm bitter, but because this is not the life I want. I never chose this family. I was born into one version of it, and that version died when I was 7. Everything after that has been survival. I've done my part. I stayed quiet when it mattered. I spoke up when it counted. I endured the loss of identity, the burden of names that weren't mine, the responsibility of protecting people I didn't even fully trust. And now I want out. I want peace. I want freedom. I want to be with someone who knows me, really knows me. I want a life where I don't have to look over my shoulder or wonder if my mom's bad decisions will pull me back in. She doesn't know yet. I'll tell her soon. After the trial, I'll give her a clean goodbye, with no guilt, no drama. She's trying, I know. And maybe she'll become someone the boys can be proud of. But I can't carry all of them anymore. I never got to be a kid. Never got to just live. But now I will. I'll be deleting this account soon. It's too tied to a version of me I'm ready to let go of. But before I do, I just wanted to say thank you. To the strangers who read, who cared, who raged on my behalf, who reminded me I wasn't crazy for being hurt, for being angry, for wanting better. This is my last post. For real this time. If the movie ever gets made, I hope they cast someone cool as me. But for now, I'm signing off. Op. Bell. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe. I post daily AI narrated Reddit dramas, relationship advice, chaos, and more. Thanks for following the journey.